Most people moving to the Denver area start their search thinking, Golden, that's my goal. It's closer to the mountains, it's more scenic, more Colorado. But here's what happens more often than you'd think. They start in Golden and then quietly they pivot somewhere else. Now, if you've been following along, I've been breaking down West Denver cities like Golden, Littleton, Lakewood, and Arvada. But this is where a lot of buyers get stuck. They narrow it down to Golden. And then they start wondering, wait, should I actually be looking at Lakewood instead? And that's what we're going to unpack today. Because this isn't just a location decision. It's simply a lifestyle decision. And in this video, I'm going to show you why Golden pulls people in and what they don't always expect, and why Lakewood ends up being the better fit for some buyers. Now, Golden is one of those places that sells a lifestyle really well. You've got the foothills right there. You've got Clear Creek running through downtown, a walkable, defined center. It looks exactly like what people picture when they imagine living in Colorado. And there's personality to Golden as well. A bit of a Western feel. It's the kind of place where you can grab a cup of coffee, you can walk along the creek, and then maybe you'll stop into one of the shops for a pair of cowboy boots or maybe even a cowboy hat. Oh, and don't forget you can even get your new road bike or mountain bike before heading out into the foothills. And for the right buyer, it absolutely works. But here's the part that surprises people. Golden isn't just a place that people live. It's a place that people go. So what you experience when you visit isn't always what everyday life may feel like, because everything is more, let's just say, concentrated. More activity in just a smaller space, more shared use of the same areas. And this shows up quickly in everyday life. And weekends especially. You've got people along Clear Creek, they're heading to trailheads, they're moving through town towards the mountains. Now, there's a lot of energy there, but there's also movement. And this is usually the moment where buyers may pause because the lifestyle they imagine isn't always how they're actually spending their time. And if Golden is still at the top of your list right now, you're definitely going to want to watch my video called Why Some People Regret Living in Golden. Because that's where I break down what surprises buyers after they actually move there. And this is usually the point where buyers start looking at Lakewood. Not because Golden is wrong, but because Lakewood solves a different problem. Lakewood is more spread out, more residential in layout. It's less centered around one main area. And daily life certainly feels different. Now in Golden, your weekend often starts right outside your door. Walking downtown, accessing trails immediately. It begins right in the middle of the activity. Now in Lakewood, your weekend is more flexible. You might head to a park or a trailhead. You might meet friends at Belmar, run errands easily, or drive a few minutes to wherever you want to go. And what surprises people about Lakewood is this. It doesn't feel like you're missing out. It just feels easier. Less planning, less congestion, more control over your time. Now, Lakewood does have a central hub called Belmar, and it's really considered the downtown of Lakewood. You've got shopping, dining, events, even things like a seasonal ice skating rink. But it feels different from Golden for sure. Belmar is Lakewood's downtown. It's planned, walkable, and built for convenience. Now, Golden's downtown, it's developed more organically, so it feels more connected to the landscape. It feels connected to Clear Creek and the foothills. So both give you a place to go, but in Golden, you're living in it. In Lakewood, you're choosing when to go to it. And this shows up even more if biking is part of your lifestyle. Now, Golden gives you direct access to Clear Creek Trail right through town and into the foothills, but you're sharing that space with walkers, with runners, and your weekend traffic. And Lakewood gives you a broader network. Bear Creek Trail, multiple parks, more routes, and more flexibility. So again, Golden is immediate and it's shared, while Lakewood is flexible and varied. And this carries into everyday life too. In Golden, you've got great local spots, but for bigger grocery runs or more variety, you're often heading outside of town. Now, Lakewood is built for convenience. multiple grocery stores, retail centers, services spread throughout the area. So day-to-day life feels more plug and play. And you start to see this difference not just in lifestyle, but in the homes themselves. Now, Golden tends to offer more variation. Older homes, custom builds, hillside properties, homes that take advantage of the terrain. While Lakewood tends to feel more consistent. Mid-century homes, more traditional layouts, more predictable neighborhoods. And then there's the setting. Golden, it sits right at the foothills, so you often get that immediate mountain backdrop. Absolutely stunning. Lakewood still offers great views, but they're more varied, more open, and depend on where you are. Now, when it comes to access, Golden gives you faster, more direct access to the mountains. Lakewood still gets you there, just with a few extra minutes. But Lakewood tends to make everything else easier. Getting around town, heading into Denver, or getting to the airport. And even with transit, Lakewood typically gives you more access points and flexibility. Some buyers are also drawn to Golden from a long-term perspective because of limited inventory and consistent demand. But that same demand is part of why it's more competitive and more expensive to get into. And this is usually the moment where buyers just stop comparing and they start rethinking. Because this really isn't Golden versus Lakewood, it's this. Do you want proximity to the mountains and more active, centralized environment? Or do you want flexibility, space, and a day-to-day routine that just feels easier? Now, Golden is where people picture their Colorado life. Lakewood is where that life often works. And neither one is wrong. They just serve different priorities. And if you're still trying to figure out which West Denver area fits you best, the next step is comparing Golden to another very different option, maybe Littleton. That comparison brings out a completely different side of this decision. So make sure you watch my Golden versus Littleton video next. Until then, remember, life is short, live somewhere awesome, and be well. We'll see you next week.